Good morning, fellow cake makers. This is Lee from Fondant and Apron Strings and the Sweet Life. So it's very early. I think it might be about just after 6. I've finished decorating, putting flowers on this cake. Can you see how pretty that is going to be? That's a wedding cake to be delivered. And I thought, because I have a lot of flowers to be making for lots of different cakes, I thought what I'd do is show you a very easy way of making a sunflower. This is great for not just wedding cakes, but great for birthday cakes and everything like that. It just adds a little bit of pop to any cake, and you can make them in any size you want to. I'm not going to make some flowers that are huge because I won't even tell you why, because it's someone's cake. So this is the sort of size. Can you see I'm making it that size? And what I want to do with this is show you, to let you get over, because I've had lots of emails from people saying when they do flowers they don't want to use wire because it's too daunting. Well, this is probably one of the easiest ways to use wire, and all of these individual petals are on wire. Okay, so you can use wire in lots and lots of different ways for flowers, lots of presses. I've got some things over here which I'm not going to use today because this is supposed to be a simple thing. So you've got lots of molds to press your leaves and flower petals in, and you have wire in there, and you can get lots and lots of gadgets for it, but this is the very simple way. So things you will need. Okay, so I'll tell you the things you'll need, and then I shall show you how to do it. Okay, so wire. This is quite thin wire. This is 26 gauge wire. Okay, but if you haven't got 26 gauge and you want to use a different wire, it's entirely up to you. I just use this because when I push the little petals in to here, it gives me more room, so it's entirely up to you. Okay, but I'm just saying. And what I've done is to cut each of these into, again, don't use a ruler, just snip them into sizes like approximately 1.5 inches, 2 inches. You don't need to bend them over or anything like that, okay? Which you do on a lot of flowers. I said this is the easiest way of doing it. Can you see that? I think I've shown you something on wires before. If you look at one of my other videos making trees, and if I haven't posted that one yet, please let me know. Maybe not. Anyway, so that's the wire. I'm just using, it can be a circle cutter of any description, but I want a small one. So I'm using the back end of a number 21 gauge nozzle. It can be any number. You're just looking for the circle. Okay, thimble will do. It's a great size. A pair of scissors that are nice and sharp, like pointy scissors, like nail scissors, not used on your nails, please, but scissors like that. A rolling pin, daisy cutters. I've got 2 daisy cutters, not huge ones. Can you see there? Again, it's entirely up to you what size flower you want to make. I'm making this size, so you need a daisy cutter and the second, sort of the difference is that, okay? And use whatever you have, okay? One of these fabulous tools, which is, because I've been using it already this morning, it's covered in icing sugar. Fabulous. A strainer for the texture. Okay, not necessary, but if you have one handy, that's cool. I use Renshaw flour gum paste. I used to call it gum paste. It's flour and modelling paste. That's the one I like because it dries quickly, but listen, we all have our own, which we prefer. A little bit of glue in a pot. You don't need a brush today. And I've got one of these. I've got several of these, but this is what I'm using at the moment, because what we need to do is just put them on there to make them just turn a little bit in. And I've got a few here already made, so I'm hoping that we can go from me showing you on to me, because you have to let the petals dry, showing you how to make the petals to actually physically putting it together. So I've got sets of petals here, and I'll show you. I've got the larger ones and the smaller ones, and I'll show you what that's all about. So I'm just going to try and move this, so I shall see, hopefully when I put this video together, it will be nice and smooth. If not, yeah, you know. I say it's real life. So this is what we're going to be making. So I'm going to stop this, start again when I've sort of positioned the camera. Okay, see you in a minute. Hello again, it's me, Lee, Fond of Nathan Strings, back on the second part of and the Sweet Life. I keep telling myself I have to say that. So what I've done is used the flower paste and mixed coloured one yellow, and it's just a bright yellow. You can use any yellow you want. Obviously sunflowers are quite bright, and some of it brown, which I'll use later. And I'm going to pop that into a bag just to keep that nice and soft, airtight. And I'm going to use the large of the daisy cutters, to cut out 2 daisies. Okay, make sure the edges are nice and clean, no frayed edges. Just give it a push out there, cut another one. So you'll need approximately 2 of each for each. That was rubbish, let's do that again. Told you, real life. You'll need approximately, I'm trying to keep this on camera, 2, for this size of sunflower, you'll need approximately 2 of each, okay? But obviously, if you make a bigger one, then you'll need more petals, okay? It's too big. Give it a little thing, help it along, get rid of all those frayed edges. I will be colouring. I'm just going to give that a little push out the centre because it's a little bit too small for my finger. I'm going to be putting some powder on these sunflowers to make them a little bit more realistic, although you should know by now I don't do realism. So what I'll do at the end of this video, I shall show you how to do that as well, and then I shall post this video when it's all done together, okay? And then you'll see, if you look at any of my Facebook posts or anything like that, you'll see the whole cake. I'm just going to put that into a bag. You see the whole cake on my Facebook post. Okay, so that's the first step. Can you hear that noise? That sort of whizzing noise. We've got a couple of fans in here because it's very, very, very hot, and obviously we need to have the cakes. It's a bit like the TARDIS, our studio, so it goes back a long way, but there's no, it's not air conditioned, so we have to keep everything cool. So that's the first. All I'm doing is literally, come on out, you little tinker, literally cutting the centre out of the sunflowers, because we don't need that, we just need the petals. Okay, come on, there you go. Where's the other one I had? I'm just going to use that. No, I'm not. There it is. There's the other one. It's just a smaller hole. I don't know why I didn't use the same one for both, but never mind, because it's a smaller petal. Sometimes I worry myself. Okay, so I'm just going to pop those over there. Don't waste your gum paste. Right. So here when it starts getting in the fun bit. So if you've got a foam board, that's cool. We're not going to use any tools on it. It's just to protect it from ripping your little petal. So I've just, can you see I've cut this wire into lots and lots of pieces. Best to err on the side of long rather than short, because even though you probably will be cutting them again when you insert them into the flower, right now you need to have them fairly long. So take one of your petals, and can you see how thick that gum paste is? I'm not looking for a very thin one because I'm going to show you how that's going to be working. Dip your wire. You've got the pointy end and the non-pointy end, and you're going to insert it into the petal and give it a squish. And I'm just going to put my glasses on because that would help. And on your pad, pressing that down with your finger, okay? And then with this tool, find the better side and just make 3 little lines in it. I don't know if that's coming up on camera, I hope so. Alright, and then you're going to place this on your foam pad, because you want a little bit of the little curve, not a huge amount of curve, and so the bit you've marked goes to the front, and you're just going to gently do that. Okay, so I say not a huge curve, just a tiny curve. Alright, so I'm just going to show you a few more. Let's just do this. Let's keep doing them. Try and get into the centre. I'm just going to put a little bit of icing sugar on my fingers because sometimes the glue makes them sticky. And then press it down, seal it at the top, and then get your tool in the centre and around each side, just to give it a little bit of texture. Then on there, tiny little bit of a curve, and just keep doing that till you have all of the large ones and the small petals all done. Okay, so I'm just going to show you a few more, then I'll go on to how to assemble them. So again, push down, use your tool, and then just put it on there to dry. See? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. But hey guys, if you like what we're doing here, okay, I'm going to be changing up a bit to do things like painting and everything like that as well, so if anybody's interested in that sort of stuff. But if anybody would like to just subscribe, refer, get ready, I don't know, what did you have to press bells and whistles? I think I'm very lucky. I think I've got like 43 subscribers. I'm so excited. So thank you for that. And if you have any questions or you want me to make something, then I'll certainly give it a go. Just remember that all of these things are for real cakes. I don't just do them for the heck of it. I just don't have time to do that right now, which is why I started the YouTube channel. I don't have time for classes, which I do miss. So even if you do ask me to do something, do it for a post on the Sweet Life, I probably won't do it straight away, because I'll do it when we need it for a cake, because this is all about going on to cakes. Okay, so one more and then I'm gonna stop the video, and then just show you how to assemble it with some of the leaves that have already been dried. Okay, so that couldn't be any easier. Your first attempt at making a flower with wire. Okay, I shall see you soon. Bye. Hi, I'm back again. I've set aside these petals to dry, a little bit of a curve on the end. I have opened my glue again. I have got some brown coloured gum paste. So this is what we're going to be making now. We're going to assemble it, and at the end I shall show you how to put a little bit of coloured powder on there, just to give it a little bit of oomph. But you don't have to, because it's quite pretty as it is. I've got some dried large petals and some dried small petals. So let's start doing that. First of all, a little bit of gum paste, make it into a ball and give it a flatten. Okay, don't be precious about it. This is an easy flower to do. Well, easy, you know, time consuming, but easier. Can you see that's sort of the same sort of size as that? That's big enough to put in all those petals. Then what we're going to do is take our strainer, pop that lovely piece of brown gum paste in there and press it down. Because what I want to happen is I want this texture to come on. Oh, let's do that again, a bit firmer. Again, it's not a science. There we go. Can you see there's a little bit of texture on there? Alright, then you're getting your scissors, nice pointy scissors, and going all the way around. We're gonna give it a snip, and again give it a couple of lines of snipping. I'm going to do this, and hopefully you'll see it as I turn it round, okay, because it's really difficult to do and show at the same time. But some flowers do sort of have a textured centre, so even though I don't do realism, it's nice just to give it a little bit more thought. I am going to be changing the name of the thing, my blog, to just The Sweet Life, I think, because I quite like that. It means I can include everything. Okay, anyway, here we go. So we've got a little bit of texture there. Right. So here we go. Glue. I do have some, I forgot to mention some of these wire cutters. Again, covered in stuff because I've been using them this morning. Because I did say at the beginning that you might need to just cut, I'm not going to use that one, cut the wire just a little bit. So here we go. So starting, actually made a mistake, I'm going to start with the small ones, because then you can get an idea of where. Let's put this down a little bit more. I must get used to this thing. You can get used to where they are going to go. So the small ones go in the top. Let me just bring a few over here. Texture up. And they don't really need to be touching or squished together. Can you see I'm just cutting the wire shorter, dipping it into the glue. Texture side up, because you've spent a long time texturing these little darlings. So let's see the texture. And that slight curve that we did, I hope you can appreciate that now. So even though you don't have to have it, it does add a little bit more. It does make it look more like a sunflower, so I would say do it. So I'm all about not having to buy lots and lots of equipment when you first start out. And trust me, I have so much. But if you can find a way of even if you don't have one of those sponges, then find a way of doing that. That'd be good. Use foil. That's always a good tip. Just crinkle some foil up. Yeah, see, we're just going all the way around there. I think I made a joke, and I stick by it, that if ever I die, please don't let my husband sell my equipment for what I told him I paid for it. I think that's the adage of a lot of cake decorators or artists or whatever you are. It's not that we lie about it, we just, you know, we act with it as we do with maybe new shoes. Oh darling, I've had them for ages type of white false news. Okay, so that's the first layer. All right, pop those small ones in there, and then I'm just going to bring some large ones out. Again, just cut them off, and within the spaces that you have behind the already petals that you've done, can you see I'm just pushing them into the space behind. Now tell me if this could not be any easier, please. For a first time flower, now the wires on these, I'm cutting them, I'm leaving them a little bit longer obviously because I want them to stick out a little bit further, but I am pushing them all the way in. That one doesn't need a cutting, so I don't want to see the wire. But equally, because they're larger petals, they do need to have a longer wire. Something to be careful of, I've just spent ages texturing it with one of these, and I'm really aware that I'm keep touching the middle. Don't do that. Yeah, you know, it's nice to have that texture there. It comes together fairly quickly. How I make these, obviously I like to make a lot at once, especially if they're going on a lots of cakes, a lot on a cake. So I tend to just make all the petals first and then assemble them all together. So what I'll do is I'll just carry on assembling some before I go on to the dusting with powder business. There we go. I think that may be it. There, let's just see if I can pick that up. Yes, there you go. All right, she's pretty. Okay, so I'm going to pop that aside, let that dry. So thank you very much for watching. I'm going to be showing you the next bit in a second, so hopefully this is nice and it goes all together. So see you in a minute. Hi, back me again. I'm just going to show you how to dust these sunflowers, just to get a little bit more oomph on them. I'm going to move the camera down so you can see what I'm doing, so hopefully you can. Okay, let's just move stuff away. There, I'll move things into shot. Okay, so what you need is a little bit of kitchen roll, some powders. Now I've just got a yellow and a brown, and then an orange and a black. Okay, that's it. No particular shades or anything like that, otherwise it just gets too complicated. Just go for the basics. I think that's a burnt umber in case anybody's worried about it, but just brown really. And I don't do that. And I have experimented with a little bit of on one of the petals, because obviously you don't want to do the whole thing and then it be the wrong color. And as you can see, I'm already filthy dirty. I've got two brushes. I've experimented on a little bit of the brown gum paste as well, so I'm going to set those two aside. Right, so I just mixed a little bit of this yellow and orange together, because the theme of the cake is an orange, so I want the sunflower to be more on the orange side than lemon. Okay, and for the insert I've mixed a little bit of brown with a teeny bit of black. Okay, so I'm going to move that away and go for the yellow and orange first. So the reason you have it on a piece of paper is because you don't want it to get too intense. So you dab it in and dab it onto the paper. Okay, and what I'm going to do is just go up like that on the petals. So dab it on there, dab it on the paper. This is very time consuming. Even though some flowers may be easy to make, it's the time that goes into everything that makes it special. And I always think that if people know how much love and attention you put into anything, then it makes it more special. I'm always happy. I'm going to give this a blow. I'm always happy, and I shouldn't be, when people come to me at shows or send me emails going, my mum or my grandma wants to make my wedding cake, and even though they, you know, good intentioned and everything, and I'd love them to do it, they haven't really got the skills. Can you give me some advice? And what I should be saying from a business point of view is, no, let me make the cake. But I think it's something wonderful, especially for a wedding, to have a cake made by someone you love. And that's what I always try and put into my cakes. And I'm going to sound really soppy, so I apologise for that. Anyway, I shall carry on. So can you see I am dusting the inside of the outside petals a little bit, just the bottoms for the moment, adding more to the brush, shaking it off by dabbing it. You'll get more confident as you do this, trust me. But as I said, always make a few extra petals and you can experiment with colours on there. Or what I do is, a lot of the time, and I've got flowers I'm making behind me, what I do is I roll out a little bit of extra gum paste, just flat, of the colours I'm making for the flowers, and then I can test the colours on there. Okay, now I'm going to move this aside because I'm going to give this a huge big blow. Okay, can you see how that's just set it aglow a little bit? All right, I'm going to go around because there's a couple of places I want a little bit more on, just at the base, and I shall tell you why in a moment, or I shall show you why. I shall tell you now. I'm going to be putting that brown black on this a little bit, just to bring out some of the texture that we've spent so long putting on there, and so it will go over the edges. Push that in a little bit. It will go over the edge of the petals, and so I want a little bit more of the colour on there, just so it doesn't get lost. Okay, again moving that out of the way and blowing. You've no idea how many times I blow, and it's you know, all over my face. Although even blowing it, you'll find that I go out orange. So what I'm going to do is now move that aside, and let's get this black brown. Be very careful of this. Again, I've already tested it on here, so even though I think it might be a little bit too dark, I'm going to be incredibly careful with it. I think it may be dark, but no, not too bad. If I don't overdo it. The best way I find is, obviously, just make sure you've hardly got any on your brush, please, otherwise it just goes crazy, it takes over, is to do it from the outside in, so like that, okay, and turn it rather than inside out. You know what I said about you're going to get some brown on the petals here? You will, and that's what would happen in nature, I think. But to avoid too much, go from the outside in. And please don't have too much of this on your brush. You know, tap it and keep tapping it till all the excess is off. Okay, I'm moving that aside, I'm going to blow. Okay, so I'm not unhappy with that, can you see? So hopefully you'll be able to make one of those. If you've got any questions, please ask. Subscribe, like, all that sort of stuff. Watch out for these on a cake in the near future. Obviously I won't post this until I'm ready to do so. And so everybody, enjoy your day. I hope that was useful, and see you soon. Bye.